Today, let us have a discussion on resources, food, energy and land. Introduction. Natural resources are the materials which can be used for the subsistence of living organisms and for promoting human welfare. There are various resources in nature. Some of the principal natural resources are food, energy and land resources. Food resources. The food resources are a composite of the foods and the services in commerce and the distribution for consumption. Exploring and maintaining food resources are important components for achieving food security. Though we have many edible plants and animals available for consumption, only about 3 dozen types constitute major food of human beings. Major food grains are rice, wheat and maize, which constitutes about half of all the agricultural crops. Types of food resources. Food resources can be obtained from various sources. Number 1, agricultural crops. Agricultural crops provide majority of the food resources. These crops include wheat, rice, corn, potatoes, barley, cassavas, soybeans, oats, sorghum, millet, rye, peanuts, pulses, bananas, coconuts, etc. Fruits and vegetables also contribute to the food resources. Number 2, domesticated animals are another important food resources. Major domesticated animals that are utilized for food include cattle, sheep, poultry, etc. Number 3, aquaculture also contribute to the food resources from aquatic habitats, both freshwater and marine. World food problems. There has been growth in the world's food production since early 1960s. However, the rate of population growth is too fast in many countries that it surpasses the rate of food production. Though there are efficient technologies for increasing food production, these facilities are not shared by all the countries. It causes food scarcity in many countries, particularly least developed ones. The situation is more complicated by economic and political turmoil at different parts of the world. Such situations create two consequences of food scarcity: undernourishment and malnutrition. As a consequence of food scarcity, about 40 million people, half of them are between 1 to 5 years, are suffering from undernourishment and malnutrition. Undernourishment is the lack of sufficient calories in available food. Lack of energy and nutrients make undernourished people susceptible to different kinds of disease. Undernourished children are likely to suffer from stunted growth, mental retardation, and other disorders. Malnutrition is a lack of a specific component of food such as proteins, vitamins, or organic elements. These conditions are usually created by improper dietary components or physiological disorders of the concerned people. Malnourishment may create various disorders such as marasmus, kwashiorkor, anemia, goiter, pellagra, chronic hunger, etc. Food problems throughout the world may belong to different types. For example, number 1, quantitative problems where food production could not cope with population growth. Number 2, limitation in nutritional quality of food products. Number 3, insufficient public distribution system. And number 4, surging cost of the food prices. Causes of food problem may be long-term, mid-term, and short-term causes. Long-term causes include population growth, decrease in agricultural output, decrease in productivity, extension of commercial agriculture, natural calamities, and changes in the consumption pattern. Midterm causes include defective food distribution, lack of purchasing power, and improper marketing design. Short-term causes include increase in consumption level, deficit in production, anti-social activities, transport, and political crisis. Food crisis can be prevented by initiating increased production, improvement in the distribution process, checking the population growth, changing the consumption pattern, and taking up rural affluent programs. Energy resources. Energy consumption of a country reflects its developmental stage, as majority of the activities are directly or indirectly dependent upon energy. Human beings are using different forms of energy throughout the civilization. Some of the principal energy resources are detailed as follows. Number 1, fossil fuels such as coal, natural gas, and petroleum account for about 87% of the world's primary energy consumption. As these fuels are non-renewable, their increasing scarcity make search for alternative resources a formidable task. Number 2, solar energy is a potential energy resource which cannot be fully utilized at present. Only a tiny fraction of these resources can be captured through present technologies. Solar energy are harnessed through active solar heating, passive solar heating, or photovoltaic cells. Number 3, wind energy has been used for centuries in different activities such as windmills and pumping iron. These resources can be increased only in selected areas. Though these resources have the advantages of being pollution-free, there are environmental objections such as noise, visual, and a threat to birds. Number 4, wave energy are formed as the interaction of wind with the surface of the sea. Harnessing this energy is impeded by high cost, corrosion by saline water, and the threat from storm and the intermittent nature of the natural resources. Number 5, tidal energy has high potential in coastal regions. Harnessing this energy requires large capital investment, and environmental impacts are complicated in various regions. Number 6, hydropower energy can be generated directly in fast-flowing rivers or through construction of large dams. Though efficiency of the resources is very high, its environmental impacts are very high also. In number 7, geothermal energy is not renewable, but its potentials and the magnitudes are large. There are various types of geothermal resources such as hydrothermal, geopressurized hot dry rock, and magma. Number 8, biomass energy is produced by the combustion of organic matter. This resource is highly diverse that include wood and wood processing residues, animal waste, crop residues, energy crops, and municipal waste. Classification of energy resources. On the basis of commercial aspects, energy can be divided into commercial fuels and non-commercial fuels. Commercial fuels are used mainly for commercial activities. For example, coal, lignite, petroleum products, natural gas, etc. Non-commercial fuels are fuel wood, cow dung, agricultural waste, etc. On the basis of extent of use, energy resources are divided into number A, conventional energy resources which are widely used from ancient times. For example, coal, natural gas, oil, firewood. Number B, non-conventional energy resources which are unusual resources. For example, solar, wind power, ocean wave power, etc. On the basis of renewability, energy can be divided into two types: renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are wood, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, hydropower, biofuels, geothermal energy, etc. Non-renewable resources include natural gas and petroleum products. Energy needs. Various developmental and commercial activities need energy. Growing energy crisis is due to population growth and the increase in standard of living of many people. Increasing demand of energy by growing population create energy deficit. Moreover, changing lifestyles, particularly in urban areas, create more energy demanding gadgets, consequently increasing the demand for energy resources. Annual per capita consumption of energy is directly related to the per capita income of many countries. When one becomes materially prosperous, there is a tendency to consume more and more energy for his welfare. If the standard of living of the people living in the developing countries improves, the energy requirement in the world would be increased drastically. With the growing scarcity of fossil-based fuels and political turmoil, there have been search for alternative sources of energy. Land resources. Land and the land resources are defined as a delineable area of the Earth's terrestrial surface, encompassing all attributes of the biosphere immediately above or below the surface. These resources provide many important aspects of development for agriculture, forestry, vegetation, etc. The capacity of the land to support life and other activities is dependent on its biological productivity and the load-bearing capacity of soil and rocks. Land is a finite resource that produces food, fiber, fuel wood, and other basic amenities of life. With the increasing population growth, the demands for arable land is also increasing. As such, there is increasing pressure on the limited land resources which are getting degraded due to overexploitation. Now, soil degradation is an alarming problem because soil formation is an extremely slow process. Degradation is caused by soil erosion, waterlogging, salinization, and contamination of the soil from industrial waste. Land degradation is decline in the quality of the land. This problem is becoming a major global issue from the last century and will remain a major concern in the current century also. Its seriousness is related to its impact on world food security and quality of the environment. Land degradation can be initiated by the following mechanisms. Number A, physical process. It is decline in soil structure leading to crusting, compaction, erosion, desertification, environmental pollution, and unsustainable use of natural resources. Number B, chemical process. It includes acidification, leaching, decrease in cation retention capacity, and decrease in soil fertility. Number C, biological process. It includes reduction in total and the biomass carbon and a decline in land biodiversity. These processes are induced by biophysical factors such as land use pattern, land management, deforestation, agricultural methods, etc. Socioeconomic conditions, for example, income and the human health, and the political, for example, incentives, political stability. To check and mitigate land degradation, the following concepts are relevant. Number A, research and development with reference to land management. Number B, changing focus of agricultural research from increasing productivity to enhancing sustainability. Number C, devising methods for selecting proper land use to match land quality. Number D, commitment on the part of the land users to maintain the quality of the land resources. Soil erosion is an important factor of land degradation. It is defined as the movement of the soil components, especially litter and topsoil, from one place to another. It results on the loss of fertility, as topsoil is mainly responsible for maintaining fertility. Soil erosion is related to political and socio-economic condition of the people. Increasing population and subsequent demand for farmland initiate severe erosion. Prevention of soil erosion requires political, economic changes along with the implementation of appropriate technological changes. As the land becomes increasingly degraded and less productive, subsistence farmers were again forced to further overuse the land. Intensive agriculture and overgrazing accelerate further degradation. In the commercial farmlands, overstocking, monoculture plantation, and the flowing of marginal lands led to soil erosion and also desertification. Desertification is prevalent in semi-arid areas. Landslides are caused by sudden, uncontrolled descent of a mass of earth and rock down a slope under the force of gravity. Apart from natural causes, anthropogenic causes like deforestation, industrialization, construction of dams, hill roads, and development of human habitats accelerate the process. Landslide may cause huge economic loss and also destroy biodiversity and the plantations. Overgrazing is caused by increase in livestock population along with decrease in available grazing area. This process causes removal of the ground vegetation, soil erosion, and gradual depletion of soil organisms. Subsequently, overgrazing induces conversion of land to wasteland. Mining activities are major causes of land degradation. In the open cast mining, the underground resources are excavated directly by removing the topsoil. As a result, total area gets destroyed. In underground mining, the whole area may collapse and turn into wasteland when the mines are abandoned. Land degradation induced by mining activities can be mitigated by large-scale land filling followed by plantation. Conclusion. Crisis of food and energy resources are different among developed and underdeveloped countries. Even distribution of the existing natural resources among countries may bring down disparities and reduce overexploitation. Mitigation and the sacking of different resource scarcity and overexploitation have specific implementation aspects. Implementation of this mitigation process require political, economic, and the technological changes. Scientific management of natural resource should take into account the participation of community as well as all the stakeholders. Community right to resources that include land, water, fisheries, and the pastoral rights should be safeguarded. As the natural resources are shared, the individuals who are affected by the changing rules can participate in solving or changing the system only when all the stakeholders are taken into account.